Hi,
Hi, Moyege. How you doing?
really, really
Good
scared. My phone
evening.
was why go off and I had to put it off at some point.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hope your evening is
Yeah.
going well.
Joining in, welcome. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here as the featured artist. It's so nice to have you here. Um so how have you been? How are you doing today?
Okay, yeah. I'm excited. I'm very excited to be here. I think this is so far this is like my this is like the most exciting part of my day so far.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you for having me. Hope you're good as well.
I'm honored for accepting to do this with me. Yeah. Thank Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would just, I think since we spent so much time, like I've spent so much time trying to fix up the phone, so I just think I'll just go right into the discussion for today.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, our topic is bringing else to life, the art and emotion of animation. So this just embodies everything like animation, the feelings that come with animating, all of that, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll start with this. When starting out a new piece, what's your first move? Do you sketch things out, jump straight into the software, or just vibe with an idea?
Oh, okay. That's an interesting question. Personally, I like to begin my work with research, and that's because I have a lot of amazing artists that I look up to. You know, maybe not just artists, but maybe movies, maybe animation. So I always start with research to see what people have done, and see what I can learn from that, and see what I can steal, you know, steal like an artist. So it's I usually um, research, find information that
Get
inspire
that
my
right.
work. Yeah.
That's amazing. I feel like an artist.
Yeah. It's actually the title of a book that I read. I read some months back. Yeah. Exciting.
Sorry, I didn't get.
Um, I said "Still Like an Artist" is the title of a book. I read it some months back. Very exciting book.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go on.
All right. Okay. All right. Because like I think I would not focus on you. I'll just focus more on the audio because the way I am like breaking in with the audio and with the video. So I think I'll just focus on the audio. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go on. I can hear you.
Just don't bother about the video. Okay. Oh, you were saying still an artist. I think I heard that right. I got that right, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Um. So, "Still Artist" is the title of a book that I read some months back. I can't remember the full name of the author, but it's Clean something. I think I have it on my shelf. But yeah, but bottom line, the book basically talks about how no no work is original. Do you understand? How um works are just inspired by basically the idea that there's nothing new under the sun, right? So most movies were probably inspired by movies that came before them. Most art or movies. You understand? So it just talks about picking ideas from different sources and bringing them together. That's what forms originality. So
Mm.
yeah, when you pick,
You on that?
what did you
I
say?
think there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes, that's what I believe.
That's so true. That's so true, actually. So yeah, on to the next. Do you pull inspiration from outside animation, like movies, painting, music, or random stuff you see day to day?
Okay, yes, definitely. Um, for me, my animation is heavily, or my work in general, it's heavily influenced by things that I like, maybe the music I like. Um, aside from being an animator, I'm also a musician and songwriter. So, I could get ideas. I could be listening to a song and might want to document something, or the song could just like direct the flow of the animation, be with the beat and pacing. But I also take inspiration from my environment, like things that happen around me. I think there was a storyboard I worked on a while back. It was basically an experience I had when I was on a bus. It was a public transport, and there was kind of a fight between the boy and the I think some thugs, right? So yeah, I was inspired by that experience to create something. So definitely, I take um, inspiration from you know stuff that I consume, maybe movies, maybe music, maybe everyday life. Yeah.
Speaking of the conductor and the thugs fighting, you like violence?
Ah, not necessarily. To me, it just felt like one of those moments that you don't experience every day. It's not every day that you get to see stuff like that happen. So as an artist, if I want to document, experiences like that, and to me, I just found it very fascinating because I've always seen those type of scenes in movies or or in music videos.
Yeah. All right. So what's the secret making a 2D character feel alive? Like, how do you give them personality without them even saying a word?
Okay, that's a great question. And so I think that I think Nigeria just happened.
Oh,
um, yeah. So as I was saying, for emotions in animation, um, I think one of the ways that one could make a character come alive is when emotions are exaggerated. You know, animation is basically like filmmaking, or making a movie, because movies are still images. The way a camera reads those clips, they're basically like images that are played you know in time to create that illusion of motion. You understand? So it could be maybe in 1 second or 2 seconds and all that. So animation is also um, similar to that, but the difference between live action and animation is that animation pushes reality. In movies, you're probably trying to, capture how things would look in real life, and maybe push it further a little more. But for animation, you have to really, really exaggerate it. That's why in cartoons like Tom and Jerry, you see someone cry a river, that's not possible in real life. Um, so I feel like that's that, exaggerating the emotion. Sometimes the camera angles also help. For example, when you have a shot where the camera is above the character, it makes the character feel vulnerable. So you might want to use, um, that you might want to use that direction or that principle. If a character, if a character has, a okay, when you're looking at a character from like below, the character appears big, powerful. So that's also that. But I think the idea generally is to create that empathy, and one of the ways that you can really push that, where you can feel for the character is through, exaggerating those emotions. Yeah, there's a scene from Lion King where Simba lost his dad, that I always think of because when I was growing up, that scene actually, I think it made me cry. and
What
I mean,
what animation was that?
that was Lion King. Yeah, when
Oh,
when Mufasa died and Simba was like, "Somebody help, anybody," you know. Yeah, so that was a very emotional one, and I think that the way it could be like the size of the eyes. The eyes are exaggerated to look big and watery. You know, so I think it's just pushing things beyond reality. That's what makes emotion sell in animation.
wow, wow. This is so like so inspiring. Like hearing it now, I'm just seeing animation in a different light. Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Which part of 2D animation is your favorite? Is it modeling, animating, lighting, or something else?
Okay. Into the animation, which is what I practice, there isn't modeling, right? But my favorite aspect of 2D animation would be, I mean, the pipeline is quite large, but I really enjoy the character design phase a lot. And, I also enjoy um, making keyframes, and I actually do. It's really hard to just like it's
Pick
really
one.
hard to. What did you say?
I think just pick one. Like which one can you just close your eye and just pick one that oh it's this one I'm going for. Even if the world is going to end, I'm going to pick this one.
Okay, okay. I'll say I actually I like I like animating. Honestly, this is kind of like a hard one because um okay, I'll just say character design. Yeah, that's an important stage in animation, and I would also say I enjoy making the rough animation or keyframe animation. And why I would say I like that phase is because there isn't much planning in that stage. It's basically um, you just going with the flow and enjoying, how things go without bothering so much about accuracy or resemblance. So at that stage, it's just fun, yeah. So I'll say um, the rough animation, yeah,
Rough animation.
yeah.
Oh, animation. Is it the starting point? How is that made? How is that?
Okay, so before everything is refined. Just like how when you're making a drawing or an illustration, you start with the sketch, right? So the rough animation is simply that stage where you know everything looks kind of messy in a way, you understand, because you're focused on nailing the action and not necessarily trying to achieve maybe resemblance or form. Or I mean, form is also important in this stage, but there isn't much to worry about. There isn't much calculation there. It's just a lot of interesting lines here and there. You get the action. Then once you've seen that, oh, the action looks good or it looks believable, then you can then go in there and start cleaning things up. So I think that's a stage that I really enjoy because um, when you're trying to clean things up, you're more precise, more rigid, or more calculative. So sometimes that could take the fun away, but I mean, it's more fun to make like loose drawings than, trying to like, for me, trying to like refine things. Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. Do you have a go-to program tool that you can't live without? And are there any tools you wish existed to make life easier?
Okay, if I would say tools I can't live without, is because um um it works on the iPad. So, and you know how mobile the iPad can be, it's quite portable. So you can work while being comfortable. You don't necessarily have to like set up your workspace. So I'll say Procreate because it's very easy to use and it's very mobile or portable. I could decide to maybe like lie on the sofa and make my drawings, or just be on the couch or on my bed just drawing. You understand? So I'll say Procreate for sure.
Mm, amazing. And is there any tool you wish existed to make life easier, like as an animator?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I would say if there's
all,
any. What did you say?
I say all the tools are available.
I didn't get that.
I said all the tools are available. Since you were like you didn't know what to say, so I was like, all the tools are available. You guys don't need anyone invented.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Hmm. If honestly, if I said that, oh, I would like a tool that if I was going to speak on that, I think I would say a tool that will make you probably like have a finished animation when you just draw one line. Like when you have an idea and you know it helps you it helps you get translate your idea into animation, maybe by just like drawing a line or something like that. But then that would be AI. And I feel like one of the interesting part of art is actually the process. So far, I don't think there's any tool that I don't think I've used um, all the tools to the point that I feel like they are not efficient enough. I just feel like for now I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
Your
exploring.
ones available.
What did you say?
Say you're good with the ones available.
Yeah, I try. I mean, not all of them, but yeah, I just have like specific ones I use.
That's nice. Um, there's so much going on in the in the world of animation, what's something happening in 2D that you get that?
No, say that again.
You get that?
No, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. There's so much going on in the world of animation right now. What's something happening in 2D that really excites you?
Okay. Well, I think I would say um, I like that Nigerian and African animations are gaining more grounds these days. There's a Nigerian animation titled Yanu, that's out right now, Cartoon Network. And, know, I'm seeing a character or stories being told from our own perspective of things. I feel like that's very inspiring because we didn't have a lot of those growing up. It was usually, the Superman, Spider Man, and all that. But currently, there are shows like Yano, that's out. Um, there's also another 2D animation I really like. That's I'm looking forward to the release. I was privileged to work on the film as a concept artist. I was privileged to work on some concept art for that film. It's titled Mao, and it's a story about
Title what?
Mao. Mao means spirit in Igbo.
Oh,
The story about the Igbo culture. Yeah.
and
So so I'm just excited about you know African shows being I mean gaining grounds, being made actually, uh, being being shown on big screens, like Cartoon Network and all that. So I just like the fact that there's more representation in our own type of story and content. So I must also mention Kunda Kids is also doing something amazing in that aspect, and I feel like um, the children of this generation are in safe hands in terms of representation. Unlike I think when we were growing up, we're mostly exposed to shows like Barney, Teletubbies, and all that. But currently, there are shows for children like Kunda Kids where you see a dark-skinned character, that looks represented, and
uh, yeah,
so I'm
that's
excited
really
about these things.
for me personally. That's exciting.
Say that again.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Like for me personally,
Okay.
those like all those things, to life. It's really exciting. Just as you said, you feel represented.
Mm-hmm.
Same here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have a word of encouragement for any upcoming animators out there? Just a word of two, to lift someone's spirit up.
Okay. So if I was going to encourage a young animator, I'd say, because when I was growing up, I always thought animation was magic. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was actually made by human beings because it looks so out of this world. But I just wanted to say, you just have to start with where you are. You don't have to wait till you have all the all the standard, tools or gadgets. You just have to start with where you are. Because I started making animations on my phone back then in like 2017. I used to use a Techno, I think W2 phone to I and one of my colleagues, um, that's his name is Guru Tunes. Shout out to Guru Tunes. So we usually just make so we would draw just like how Walt Disney started. They started making animations like Cinderella and the likes on paper. You know, and you know, but currently it's all digitalized, right? Similarly, we would draw those frames on A4 paper. We didn't have the light box thing, to see through the paper as well. We had ideas of how we wanted to move our characters. And, in our own little way, we just draw on paper. Then we would, take a picture, just like scanning. We didn't have a scanner, so we scan that and import it into that app. The app was called Autodesk, yes. So we would now like digitalize it, color it on Autodesk, then take it to another app. I think that one is called Video Show. Then we would now play all the frames, in a sequence to create our own animation. So I would say, start with what you have, you know, um, don't wait till okay you have everything. Start failing earlier, start making mistakes and learning from them, because eventually when you want to get hired, people would always want to see your portfolio, before they can entrust you with their project. So it's important that you do not let your resources hold you back. At least I think the word would be improvisation. You should know how to be creative about improvisation. So yeah, that's it for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I learned a lot. Yeah. Even with the word of advice, I'm like, yeah, this is for me too. Start with what you have and where you are, right?
Yes,
That makes that feeling early, right?
I
I'm really
didn't. I didn't hear that.
going I'm really going to take it. Thank you so much for deciding to do this with me today. Yeah, I'm
I'm
so grateful.
honored.
Thank
I'm
you for
honored.
your knowledge. Like, there's no word to express it. Like, I'm like, oh, I just received animator. I just received inspiration to apply to my what's the one now? My own area. Yeah, my own area of specialization actually. So I don't
What's
know if anyone has questions, anyone joining us questions to ask. Like he's loaded with wisdom, so I'm sure he has answer for anything. So I'll be picking any questions. What I want to ask you, go to 3D or are you fine in 2D animator?
okay? That's actually a great question, and yeah, I'm excited to answer this question. So I also enjoy 3D animation even as a 2D artist, but I think what led me into 2D animation was because I I really like drawing position where I have the opportunity to always draw and improve my drawing. You understand? And that takes us to the difference between 2D animation and 3D animation. So 2D animation involves a lot of hand drawn, you know, hand drawn movements for the characters, right? But for 3D, you don't necessarily need to draw when you're animating. You just have your character modeled, then you start moving certain parts of their bodies to create the motion or the animation. So for somebody like me that's really passionate about drawing and improving draftsmanship, it's definitely 2D for me. You know, so I feel like maybe in the future, yeah, I might want to explore 3D because I would like to implement sorry 3D backgrounds into my 2D animation. So that's a direction I'm looking forward to exploring. Yeah, because it's easier to move things in 3D. In 2D, you have to
Wow.
redraw a lot.
So
So imagine redrawing a complex background.
I always felt that there was more work to do in 3D than
What do you say that
felt.
again?
I always felt that there was more work to be done when animating in 3D than 2D. So I was all wrong.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I feel like both art forms have their own uniqueness. You know, um, I wouldn't say that honestly, especially because I'm not well informed about 3D, right? Assuming I was actively involved in 3D, then from my own experience, I would be able to say, oh, I've tried this and I think this is more difficult, right? But I can't say. Yeah, I know that 3D has a lot of processes. For example, there's the lighting stage, and there's the modeling. Even if you have to like model the hairs of a character to make them look realistic, but in 2D, you don't necessarily need to capture all those details to give you realism. You understand? You could always simplify things here and there, and there isn't so much rendering hours when you're working with 2D. But in 3D, they will take like longer hours to render whatever they've animated. So I can't really say honestly because I'm not a 3D artist. Yeah, but so far I think that 3D is also complex.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, that's just what I wanted to. Thank you for giving me clarity on, and everyone who also had that kind of question in mind. Yeah. All right.
My
So
pleasure.
the end of today's podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much, Francis, for joining in. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much for be grateful. Grateful.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
All right. So we've come to the end. Oh, someone said your environment looks like your artwork.
I get that. I get that a lot. Funny enough.
Oh, I should.
Yeah, funny
That,
enough.
that's true. That's true.
Uh, I think that's a common thing about artists. You know, um, there's the tendency of your characters looking like you in a way. So I mean, because you're the first reference in your visual library. So, for example, I have bushy brows. So if I was making a character, my first option or my first decision when I'm trying to, create their brows is probably to make to make their brows bushy. So yeah,
Hmm. Oh, so you do represent yourself in your character.
yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
not, not like not
I think I
like
should have noticed.
not like intentionally, but subconsciously. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Then
nice.
then sometimes I shoot my own reference. Maybe I need to draw a character, or I need to animate a character moving from this point to that point. So I could film myself doing that. So maybe there could be like clues to show that you know, I took inspiration or I referenced myself.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh my god, this section was so powerful, so amazing. Like, thank you so much. Because if you had not joined in this section, and thanks to everyone who connected. It wouldn't have happened without you guys. So thank you so much. I hope you all learned something today. Yeah, and any animators here. I'm sure you got one or two from today's session. So see you all next next episode. Promise to be amazing, just as today's one. Don't I'm picking my words anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to say you're doing an amazing job.
Thank
Um,
you.
I think you're doing an amazing job. I think you should keep going. And yeah, I mean, not everybody has the platform to like share their knowledge, or so I think you're doing amazing in that, by creating that platform, because um, you don't know who might need, maybe like any information, and you making it accessible to them. So I feel like you're a superhero. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
well done.
All right. Well, end of today's episode. Vibe with the artist. You can type that in the chat box. Vibe with the artist. Vibe with the artist. Yeah,
Bye,
today was so
the
much
artist
vibe.
guys. Thank you for vibing with us. All right,
Yeah,
bye.
same here. All right.